It says the meaning
We'll,
is
yeah, we'll start with the review of the last class. So the slokam that we covered last class, can anyone recite? Did everyone memorize? Okay, can you recite?
Evam pravartitam chakram nanuvartayati haya agayur indraya ramo mogam partha sajivati.
Good. So what is the meaning of mogam?
Uselessness.
Yeah. So what is the meaning of the sloka?
One who does not follow the rule that God set, he lives in his senses and lives in vain, and he is therefore useless.
Yeah, almost. So you get the idea, right? So we'll continue the discussion. Last time we discussed it halfway through. So we'll complete the discussion on this sloka and then go to the next sloka. Okay, so so last class we saw that how useless it is if to go to Disneyland without knowing what to do there, right? So just like that, we are in this world, we need to know what is expected of us. That is really important. Otherwise, we'll be making, we'll be wasting our lives. Life is a great opportunity. So we'll be basically wasting our lives if we don't know what we need to do in this world, right? And Bhagavad Gita gives us the knowledge, tells us what we are expected to do and how to make the best use of our life, right? It's actually a very simple thing, but many people don't get it. And such people unknowingly become a burden on the family, on the society, and the world. See, these days, homelessness is a very big problem in California, right? Everyone is very concerned that the homelessness is growing in California. There are many reasons for that, but so there's a message on the chat window. God gave us a chance to know what we are expected to do. Yeah, God is telling us in Bhagavad Gita what we are supposed to do. So the reasons for homelessness are many, but there is a class of people who just wasted their lives. They wasted their life in sensual pleasures. They are addicted to substances. So their life is just a vain, just in vain. It's a great opportunity that's lost. By nature's law, this human form of life is meant for self-realization. Who are you? Who am I? That is the self-realization. So we should keep on asking and reminding ourselves who we are. We are the soul. We are not the body, right? So for the soul, body is just like a tool, right? It's just like a tool. Just like you have cars, you have laptops, you have homes, you have keyboards, television. For the soul, body is just like a tool, right? So we have to make use of the tool in the right way. So we sit in the car and we don't know how to use it. What is the purpose, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
It's
same
like
thing.
the example you gave us about going to Disneyland and not doing anything.
Yeah. So Nara needs to, there's a message in the chat window. Nara needs to realize soul. Nara needs to realize soul. Yeah, that's right.
I copied it 2 times, sorry.
Yeah, the human being needs to realize that the human being is the soul and not the body. Body is just a tool. It's like a book, it's like a car, it's like a television that we need to use.
Are there any other tools for the body?
Body itself is a tool.
Or for the Atma? Or for us?
body is a tool and everything else is a tool. Body is the most important tool that you have, right? For everything, for self-realization, for everything, body is the tool, right? So self-realization can be attained in three primary ways. We already saw what those primary ways are, right?
Isn't self-realization the same thing as self-consciousness? Because if you have consciousness and are aware of your body, then you have self-realization. You realize what's happening.
Yeah. So the message on the chat window, body helps you to realize soul, even mind. But body or mind isn't your soul. Right.
Ah. So mind is another tool then. Like somewhat.
Yeah, body or mind isn't our soul. So even mind is a tool. So mind, body, these are just tools which are given to us so that we can realize ourselves, who we are, and associate ourselves with the right entity. The right entity is soul.
Entity means?
Entity is a thing.
Object?
It's an object. Yeah, it's an object. So soul is the object that we should get associated with, and not the body. So this self-realization can be attained in three ways. We already saw those three ways. What are the three ways?
Action and yoga.
Right.
Choose yoga.
Devotion,
Action
and knowledge.
Right, you're right.
Good job.
So first thing is yoga. We have to be in unison with the God and the soul and the mind and the body. So all, yeah. And in this yoga, in this united posture, we can attain self-realization by way of action, which is called karma yoga, by way of knowledge, which is called jnana yoga, or by way of devotion, which is called bhakti yoga. And the three are related. They are not completely separate. One can lead to the other. Like we have seen the example of, yeah, we have seen the example of Hanuman, right? Who is a perfect example of bhakti yoga leading to karma yoga leading to jnana yoga.
Yeah, like his devotion for Rama led to him to put Lanka on fire.
Yes.
Which is
Karma yoga.
bhakti yoga to karma yoga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then jnana yoga. Because of his bhakti and karma, he became a jnani. So, yeah, he did all three and gave his devotion to Rama. That's right. So we should fulfill God's, just like you fulfill your parents' plan or teacher's plan. Your teacher has a plan for you, right? More than parents these days, teachers have a plan for you. They tell you what needs to be done. So do you follow that plan or do you frustrate it?
Follow?
You know the meaning of frustration, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're not,
Get angry or annoyed.
yeah.
Irritated.
So yeah, you're not going to frustrate your teacher, right? Similarly, your parents also have a plan for you. Your teachers have immediate plan, but your parents have a long-term plan.
Yeah, like schools,
Yeah, education, and maybe they want you to become great in your lives, become strong in your willpower. So they have the same plan. Yeah.
Well, teachers punish us for the year.
Yeah.
School education.
So do you follow your parents' plan or frustrate it?
Follow.
Yeah, you intend to follow the plan. Now, going a level above teacher and parents is God. So God has a plan for you as well. Just like your teacher has a plan, your parents have a plan, God also has a plan for you. So do you follow that plan or frustrate it?
Sometimes we frustrated without knowing.
Yeah, without knowing, we sometimes frustrate God's plan.
Oh, so if we have self-realization, we realize that we're frustrated
Yeah.
and we follow it. Okay.
So just like your teacher, your parents get upset when you frustrate their plan, God also gets upset. Right? He has bestowed so many things upon you. He has bestowed this great body, this great school that you're going to, your laptops. He has given you so many tools for you to realize yourself through three ways: action, knowledge, devotion. Right? So,
Arjuna.
can you repeat that, Aditi?
That's why Krishna was trying to help Arjuna.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
God will try to help you. I mean, just like your teacher and your parents try to help you when you don't understand or when you do things unknowingly, God also tries to help you, particularly if you are close to God. I mean, if you are devoted to God, um, then He likes to help you, right? But if you are completely away from the God's path, then God can't even see you. You're in a different path altogether. Just like uh, some kids are completely away from the parents' path. Uh, See, in some countries, kids used to run away from their home for various reasons because they could not follow the plan. They wanted to follow, but they could not follow. They just ran away from the home, and the parents have no sight of those kids, right? When they have no sight of their kids, they will not be able to help. Same thing with God. If you are not in anywhere near God's path, God can't even see you. Where is the question of helping you, right? So that is why you should try your best to follow the plan as much as possible. And if you don't know something and if you miss the plan by a little bit, then you God is there to help you. But if you're completely away from the plan, then God cannot see you. God cannot help you. So in this, like Aditi said, Krishna is trying to help Arjuna. Why? Because Arjuna is mostly in the God's path. He for a short while he was away from the path. He was not too away. So God could quickly bring him back into his path. Right? So that is the reason why you should follow God's plan, God's path as much as possible. Right?
Okay.
So the next sloka in the Bhagavad Gita, after this sloka, which we will not be able to cover in this course, gives an exception to karma yoga. So with this chapter is all about karma. Yeah, Sharada Devi is God. Sharada Devi tries to help you in the form of parents, teachers, and gurus. That's right. So God sometimes comes in different forms. They can come in the form of parents, teachers, and gurus. Um, that is the reason why these great sayings are there, right? Pitru Devo Bhava, Matru Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, right? Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara. Whoever gives you the right path, you can consider the person as God. And parents, teachers, and gurus particularly give you the right path, put you in the right path. So that is why they are considered God.
Huh.
So the next sloka in Bhagavad Gita gives an exception to action. So if you are not an action king, if you are not too much into action, the next sloka says that if you meditate and focus inside, then you don't have to practice karma, action.
But didn't you say a couple of classes before that action meditation is not as good as action or doing things?
So meditation and focusing inside can be combined with action, right? See, ocean, you take the example of ocean. Ocean is full of action, right?
Yeah.
There is waves coming and going, keep coming and going. It is full of action. But deep inside the ocean, there's perfect calmness.
Yeah.
It's
like
as
the
if
fish and the
completely
sea.
focused inside. The ocean, though there's a lot of, the ocean is involved in a lot of action outside, inside, the ocean is completely focused inside.
Wasn't that kind of the example you gave? Kind of sounds like Rama. He does so much on the outside, but on the
Right.
inside, he is very calm.
Right. Rama is a perfect example. He's the personification of godliness, divineness.
What about Krishna?
Yeah,
Buddha or
Krishna,
Parashurama?
yeah, all of them. But Rama particularly is considered as perfect embodiment of divineness. Right? So you're right on spot. Rama's he is the Purushottama, like Aditi is saying on the chat window. Purushottama is the best in all Purushas. Purushas means all the people. So is the Uttama. Uttama means best. So yeah, just like Rama, you understood Rama very well. Just he's like the ocean. He is like the earth. Earth is also full of action. There are so many things taking birth from earth, right? Every second, every microsecond, there is something happening on the earth. But deep inside, it is very, very focused and very calm and peaceful inside. Ocean, the nature itself is like that. There's a lot of action going on, but deep inside, it is very focused and meditative. Same with yeah, Bhudevi is calm inside, right? There's of course, sometimes it shows frustration, but in general, Earth is very calm inside.
Wouldn't Shiva be another good example? Shiva is like Rudra is like is full of action, and Shiva does meditation a lot.
Yeah.
So isn't he another example?
Yeah. So so going back to that question, whether Bhudevi is calm or not, every entity, even God, has two forms. One is the peaceful form, and one is the terror form. So terror form is to scare, to make sure that
So the bad becomes good?
no, see, like Buddha teaches peacefulness, right? See, another example is Buddha. Buddha teaches peacefulness, meditation. So what happened? There was a snake who was a student of Buddha. So the snake is very naughty. It earned a very bad name. People used to hate the snake like anything. So the snake goes to Buddha and tells Buddha, see, people all hate me. Nobody likes me and all that. So Buddha says that you should not, you should behave in such a way that people like you. That there's no shortcut to that. So then the snake goes back, and next day it comes back to Buddha with all bruises. So it says, you asked me to be peaceful, you asked me to be good, you asked me to be nice to people. I went to the people, I was nice with them, I was peaceful with them, but they hit me. Then Buddha says, I asked you to be peaceful, but I asked you not to harm them. But I never asked you not to use your terror form, right? You should have hissed. You should have frightened them when they were coming near you to hit you. You should have scared them. God has given you that as a tool. The terror form is a tool for you to use, right? So you're supposed to use the tools in the right way. So terror form is one of those tools that everyone uses at appropriate times. So
Even mommy and daddy.
so ocean also has moments of anger, right? Ocean,
Yeah, like-
nature.
It was very, very violent when
Yeah, tsunamis in the ocean, the earth,
and when Rama
volcanoes.
and Hanuman came, the ocean was being very naughty, so Rama had to calm it down.
Yeah. So every form in this universe has two faces. One is the peaceful face, and the other is the terror face. Like Lord Shiva, peaceful face is Shiva himself, and Shiva means Mangala, means auspicious. And the other face is Rudra. Rudra means Rud in Hindi or in Sanskrit means to make one cry. So
Really?
Rudra means one who makes others cry.
Wow.
So that is the terror form of Shiva. Similarly, Vishnu has two forms. One is
Narasimha.
Narasimha is the terror form, and Vishnu is a peaceful form. Similarly, Shakti has two forms.
Oh,
Kali,
Shakti.
the Devi, the Navratris that we are celebrating
Oh,
for,
yeah.
she also
Parvati
has
Devi.
two. She also has two forms. One is peaceful. So everything, gods, nature, everything has two forms, right? See, even Rama, he got angry with the ocean god, right? So everyone has a terror form. But we are not talking about the terror form now. We are talking about the general composure of the nature and the God.
Wasn't there a sloka before? Like a few slokas before? There was a sloka about angriness.
Anger, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Although-
by temperament, we should not be angry. We should be peaceful. But anger is a tool. Why did God give you anger? There is a purpose for anger.
Well, it's not anger really. It's more terror.
Yeah, there
Rather
is
than
a
anger.
reason for anger. There is a reason for giving anger to you.
Also, it's like
It's a tool.
it's like we talked about how Krishna stole yogurt, but it was part of his beauty of some sort.
Yeah. So everything has a purpose. You have to use it for the right purpose. That's the only thing. You cannot misuse it. That's the whole idea. So in the next sloka, Lord Krishna says that if you meditate and focus inside, you don't have to practice any action. You don't have to do any karma. So even Buddha kind of indicated that, right? Buddha is another example who was full of action, but inside he was very peaceful, he was very meditative, right? So we have to develop that kind of composure in us. We have to be like nature most of the time. There are many things we should learn from nature. We are part of nature and we should be like nature. Nature is also very calm, peaceful. In the core, it is peaceful, it is calm. But you disturb it, you create an imbalance in the nature, then you get all these problems, right? So the next sloka gives an exception to this karma yoga, to this anuvartanti. This sloka has an exception, and the only exception is when the person is completely focused inside. So you meditate deep inside. Like Buddha meditated for how many? A few weeks, right? Yeah. So
13 weeks.
yeah, 13 weeks or something. So that is another way of realizing self. One way of realizing self is karma, which this sloka is saying. The chakra of God, the wheel of God, is the action, basically, the action that the God is prescribing. But if you are deep inside, focused deep inside, then you don't have to follow the wheel of God. That is the only exception that you have. Either you meditate or you practice karma.
But didn't Rama and Buddha also follow the will of God?
Yeah, they followed the will of God. Krishna, Buddha, everyone followed the will of God. All the great people, all the Purushottamas who were born on the earth, they followed the will of God. Okay. So why is this an exception? Why did Krishna give that as an exception? So Krishna is saying that you don't have to follow my wheel of action if you focus inside.
Because if you focus inside, then you'll have self-realization. And self-realizations will basically tell you everything that the wheel of action does.
Right. So the mind's activity reduces when it focuses on self, and it disappears. All the activity will disappear when you are united with the God. When you're completely united with the God, even though you're not doing any action, when it is completely in unison with God, then the mind is like realizing self, like you said. So the mind's activity reduces. So the whole idea of this self-realization is to reduce the impact of external things. What are the external things to soul?
Body and mind.
Right, good thought. See, body is external to soul. So body keeps on influencing the soul.
Isn't the world also?
The world is the other thing. The world keeps on influencing the soul. People keep on influencing the soul. So, the whole idea of self-realization is to reduce the botheration from outside, including from body. And how does body bother you? It is explained in this sloka.
Well, your body bothers you because it needs sleep, food, and everything.
Indriya ramo. Indriya ramo means you're gratifying the body. So body keeps on bothering you and you keep on gratifying the body. So the whole idea of self-realization is reducing the effect or the botheration from the body, from the outside world, from the people, from everything, right? We see this example, material world. The word Hari or Hara, which is used to address Vishnu or Shiva, basically means reduce.
Oh yeah, we learned that saying the words Ha and Ri, it burns all the bad stuff and sins in your soul.
Right, it reduces attachment. So Hari and Hara basically means reduce.
I think Ha meant all the bad things and Ri burned them.
Yeah. So they're all meant to reduce. So when self-realization is basically reducing, when you reduce everything, the botheration from everything, including your body, what are you left with?
Your soul.
Your soul. You're realizing yourself. Soul is yourself, right? So when you reduce everything around you, you're with the soul. You're realizing the soul.
Isn't that what you told us to do when we were doing meditation? Makes you feel like nothing else is around you.
Ignore. That's what is meditation. That's what is focusing inside.
Oh, so that's how, if we do that, then that's how we would see what is in, like what our soul is.
Yeah. See, Lord Buddha, this is already given in Bhagavad Gita, right? But Lord Buddha was born. He did not remember this. He did not know about this. He invented meditation all new, right? You ask anyone in today's world, who invented meditation, they would say Buddha. I mean, some people say Vikram yoga and all that stuff.
Who's that?
They will say a lot of names, but people who are deep inside, they will say Buddha. But actually, Bhagavad Gita already had this meditation, the technique of. So Buddha may have forgotten. I mean, if we consider Buddha as an avatar of Vishnu, then Buddha took some time to remember this meditation. I mean, he still finally ended up meditating, right?
But
So
he is still Nara. So
that's why it took time. That's why it took time to realize about meditation, and he presented it as new, but actually it's already known. So Lord Krishna in Sloka 17 of chapter 3 gives the technique for meditation. He clearly says that if you're focused inside, all the effects are, they don't bother you. All the outside effects, including your own body, does not bother you anymore. And you realize the self, right? It is just like what happens to a river,
it flows, and then 10 minutes later, there's totally different water.
right? And it eventually merges with the
Ocean.
ocean. So it takes a long time, a long path, but finally it does merge into the
Oh,
ocean.
like our soul takes a long path and it finally merges with God.
Yeah, the river, just like the river takes a lot of action, time, and energy uh, to finally merge with the ocean. This soul goes through a lot of action, takes time, energy, and finally merges with the God. And the right path, I mean, if the river takes lots of sideways and this way, that way, for various reasons, then it takes longer to go to the ocean, right? Same thing, your soul takes sideways, it gets affected by the body, it gets affected by people, it gets affected by the world, it takes side paths, it takes a long time to merge into the Paramatma,
Oh,
the
so
Jivatma. Eventually, Jivatma is like the river, and Paramatma or the God is the ocean. The Jivatma has to eventually merge with the Paramatma, right? So if you keep on deviating paths, the path that is set for you is the direct path to the ocean. But if you go sideways because of interruptions, yeah, you get, yeah, because of, see, the river flows, Neeru Palla Merugu. In Telugu, they say that water always knows slope. It goes in the direction of the slope. So that is the nature. So it goes here and there. It takes a lot of time to reach the ocean. But if it goes through a set path without any distractions, it reaches the ocean very quickly. You get sidetracked. That's right. Just like the river gets sidetracked by the slopes, people tend to get sidetracked by the distractions. So, but when you're completely focused in action, so there are many examples in our real world also. Small. You go to there are many people like that, not just great people.
Like the story of the satsang and the party. And the two friends were going to the satsang, they got distracted.
Not only that, see, they're like labor who do manual labor in farms, fields. They're totally devoted to their work. Even shoemakers, who are totally devoted to their work.
Oh, like the story of the shoemaker and the saint you told us.
Yeah, even okay, that even in regular course of work, you take top officers in the police force or top officers in the administration, like the collectors. In India, they are called collectors. Here, civil servants. They have lots and lots of work. Um, they multitask. At the same time, they will be attending to 5 or 6 different tasks. So that is, they're fully deeply involved in action, but still inside they maintain their calm and composure. That is the right practice. That is the best way to attain God. But when that is not possible, or when you are better at meditating, then the next sloka says that the meditation is an exception. If you're meditating, then you can take an exception from the chakra that the God defined for you, right? So the action is interacting with the external world, and just like the action of the river ends when it merges with the ocean, the action of our soul and the body interacting with the external world will end when we are totally focused within and stay united with the God. And that is the purpose of meditation, right? You focus on your breath, you focus on slowly, first you focus on God, then you focus on your breath, and then focus inside. Slowly the focus goes inside. Then we get connected to the soul, right? Like you said on the chat box. So either you can practice karma, or you can just directly meditate and stay focused inside to attain God. So this wheel in our culture has a great importance.
Because
the
it
wheel,
never
the circle,
stops.
right? There is no end to the wheel, right? That is one reason. There's no end. It keeps on going round and round. There's no end to the wheel. That's one thing.
Yeah, we talked about
It's
that
eternal. Yeah, it is eternal. And a lot of things in the universe happen in circles. Yeah, a circle is a cycle. A lot of things in the universe happen in cycles, right? In circles.
Cycle?
Yeah, the weather occurs in a cycle. The summer, the winter.
Seasons?
The seasons occur in a cycle. Yeah, the seasons occur in a cycle. The day and night occur in a cycle. Most of the things, almost everything.
Even life and death occur.
Life and death occur in a cycle. And even simple things like fashion. Fashion keeps getting reinvented. And everything, most of the things happen in cycles. See, we are in machine learning, most of the algorithms are from a century. Some of the algorithms are a century old.
Really?
Yeah.
But I thought machine learning was very.
But we are using those algorithms now.
We use
Machine
those.
learning.
But I thought machine learning technology was invented very recently.
Yeah, machine learning as a technology was invented recently, not century back, but some of the algorithms that we are using are century old.
Well, I mean, some of them, well, we were able to connect them to the Bhagavad Gita. So that means that they're as old as the Bhagavad Gita is.
That's right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's a good observation. Just like we are connecting this technology topics to Bhagavad Gita, we are using some technologies which were invented more than a century back.
Does that mean that the people who made these algorithms used the Bhagavad Gita?
Yeah, I mean, they kind of, they had the intuition of Bhagavad Gita. That's the reason why they are able to invent these powerful techniques, because they're so connected to the God. So a lot of things happen in cycles. Computer programs run in loops, right? There are a lot of loops, right? So that's another example of cycles. Planets are all circular; they're round, right?
And they go make a round around the sun, a cycle.
Yeah, they go around around the sun. Yeah.
And even the food chain and growth and reproducing in plants and animals are all.
Yeah. So all planets, everything is circular. In our culture, for pujas particularly, lot of shapes are in the form of circles, right? Like the kalasham is a circle. Then we draw circles. So in some religious procedures, they ask you to draw mandala karam. Mandala means circle. So in Sanskrit, mandala means circle.
Yeah. There's like and even in American, well, it was originated in India, there's a like a design art style called mandala or something.
Yeah, mandala means basically circle. So a circle has a lot of significance in our culture. It represents wholeness. The other thing is it represents wholeness, right?
Oh yeah.
When everything comes together, it becomes a circle. Whole.
We also use them to concentrate in the middle of the mandala.
Yeah. So wholeness. And the other way to think of circle is unity, right? Everything, when everything is united, it becomes a circle. And you can think of it as a completion. Like if it is a complete thing, right? You did not leave off anything, no corners.
Even the color wheel is a circle.
Yeah, it is everything at once, right? So that is the power of circle.
And also everything is connected to everything.
Yeah. So, let us look at the internet circle. This is the circle of the internet. So what happens in 1 minute on the internet? Every minute, this happens again and again and again and again and again in a cycle. So there are 4,500,000 videos that are watched in a minute on YouTube. Then 188 million emails in 1 minute.
Wow.
And what else do we use? We use Google. Google conducts 4.5 million searches in 1 minute. 4.5 million searches.
More emails than searches?
Yeah.
Huh.
People search a lot than email, right?
But it's the opposite. The emails are more.
Oh, the emails are more. Yeah, that's another
emails
surprising.
Are more important.
Yeah, probably emails. Many people don't search a lot, probably. And emails, this and
we check day to day.
emails, yeah. Yeah, some of the things are not, they are really surprising. So what else?
Apps?
Yeah, Amazon is not listed here, but yeah, Amazon is another example which will have a lot of transactions in just 1 minute. See, so all these things happen in a cycle. So 1 minute, 188 million emails sent. Next minute, another 188 million emails are sent, and so on and so forth. So that's the cycle of internet. So imagine the kind of data that is getting generated in a minute on the internet. So many emails, so many searches, so many pictures, so many videos, so much data. So let us look at the data. So 1,000 bytes are called kilobyte, right?
Oh, bytes are like the memory in a computer, right?
Yeah. So 1,000 bytes. So how many bytes do you need to store one letter?
A lot.
1 byte.
Really?
Yeah, just 1 byte is needed for one letter. So to store the letter K, you need 1 byte. To store the letter B, you need 1 byte. So like that, if there are 1,000, I mean, this is an approximate, actually it is 1024, but if there are roughly 1,000, so 1,000, then it's called a kilobyte. What is the equivalent of money? What is $1,000 called?
A kilo. It's called like a kilo or something, right?
No. It's informally called a grand.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And what is a megabyte, equivalent of megabyte in currency called, in dollars? 1,000 power 2. That means how many zeros in 1,000 power 2? 1,000 times multiplied by 1,000.
So 6 zeros.
6 zeros is 1 megabyte. And in dollars, how much is it?
$1 million?
Yeah, 1 million. How about giga? 9 zeros.
Wow.
How much is it in dollars?
100 million.
100 million.
Oh.
Trillion. It's called a trillion.
Oh, so 3,000 trillion. Okay.
Yeah. And if there are 15 zeros, then it's called a petabyte.
Petra?
Yeah. So is there an equivalent of petabyte in currency?
No.
No. There ends the matter. If the
about
currency
billion?
goes to
Petabyte. Then it's
giga is billion, right? Giga is billion. Oh, tera. Oh, did I miss
Tera.
one?
yeah. Mega is
Million.
grand.
Giga is so
Mega is grand.
no. Kilo is grand. Mega is million. Giga is billion, and tera is trillion.
Oh wait, is billion or a trillion? Oh, billion.
Trillion is the maximum. That's the most you can go for dollars.
Wait, really? Nobody has more than.
A
Wait, but what
trillion.
about Google?
Yeah, it's not. It's just a trillion maybe. It's still in trillions. There's nothing which has gone.
Petabyte.
Yeah. So, but in data, there is 10 power 5. I mean, 1000 power 5, which is 10 power 15. So 15 zeros also is possible in data.
Well, it's needed because we send a lot of emails per day.
Right. And 10 power 24. 24 zeros is also possible in data. But in currency,
That's
you
way.
end with tera. So you end with tera. Right? So if the currency goes to peta or exa, then probably there will be inflation, severe inflation. What is inflation? When the money cannot buy the needed goods. If the inflation goes really very high, what happens is even if you pay $1,000, you may not get a bread slice. It happened in some countries. So if
everybody was super rich, so that every price becomes higher.
Yeah, it's meaningless. So the inflation. So that's why in social studies you don't study more than 10 power 12, right? 12 zeros.
Yeah.
But in data science you study 24 zeros and maybe even more, right? So that is the power of data.
Yeah, are there more besides yottabyte?
Yeah, for now yottabyte is where we can go, but yeah, in the future there could be more. So more insights into data. So 1 terabyte is equal to 25 Blu-ray discs. Do you know Blu-ray disc?
They're like
movies,
yeah.
Movies, right? Like the DVDs, they're Blu-ray discs. And human brain's ability to store memories is equivalent to about 2.5 petabytes of data. So the human brain can store 2.5 petabytes of data. How much is a petabyte? 10 power 15. That means 15 zeros. That many bytes can be stored in the human brain.
So then memorizing Bhagavad Slokas should be easy.
That's what. And so 1 exabyte is equal to 245 million DVDs. Movies, 245 million movies is 1 exabyte. So that is a kind of data.
Then what about yottabyte?
Yottabyte is 45 trillion Blu-ray disc, 45 trillion high definition movies.
High definition means like the ones with a lot of
clear, crystal clear picture and sound and all that stuff. That is the advantage of Blu-ray discs, right? So that is the power of data. Okay, now let us test your knowledge of Devanagari numbers. I mean, these are all numbers. These are all numbers, right? We talked about all numbers.
Wait, but weren't Devanagari numbers Sanskrit numbers?
Yeah, Devanagari are Sanskrit numbers. They are all, I told you, right? Devanagari is used for 4 languages in the world. What are those 4 languages?
Hindi, Sanskrit, Nepali, and Marathi?
Right. Hindi, Sanskrit, Nepali, and Marathi. Those are the 4. For the 4 languages, the numerals are the same. So you have to guess which numeral is this. What is this numeral?
6? No, 7. It's 7.
Yeah. How about this?
Oh, 9,
9,
Right, 9. How about this?
3.
6,
Wait, no, yeah.
Aditi is right, 6.
It's you have to say.
How about this?
1,
1. 1. Correct, Aditi. How about
2,
this?
2,
Right. How about this?
8,
Right, 8. How about this?
3,
3,
This one?
6. Wait, not 6, right?
no, 5,
Yeah, 5.
5,
How about this?
10.
19, 19, 19.
19. That's right.
Oh, 1 and then 9.
1 and then 9.
This one right here is 9.
Okay,
Here, and this one is 1, so it's 19.
Right, 19. How about this?
I've seen that one. 40. 4, sorry.
4. That's right. So that's the numbers. Okay, now let's go to the next sloka. So this also is an important sloka.
Chapter 3, Sloka 21.
Chapter 3, sloka 21. Good. So you're able to recognize the numerals now, right? Yadyad aacharati shreshthas tatta deve taro janaha saya pramanam kurute lokasta danuvartate. So what is the meaning? Whatsoever a great man does, that other men also follow. Whatever he sets up as the standard, that the world follows. Isn't
They're
that true?
models.
Yeah, they are models, they are role models, right? So let us look at the meanings of the words. Yat yat means whatever. Tat means that. Yat means whatever. Like so, yat yat whatever. Acharati. Achara in our Indian language also achara. What is the meaning of achara?
Acharya means guru.
And achara means practice.
Oh,
Achara means practice. Chara means walk. Achara means you're walking in the direction. Like
also it's like Baba.
yeah, so practice. Acharati means he does whatever he does. Shreshtaha means a respectable leader. Shrestha means the best kind of thing. Respectable leader. Tat means that. Again, tat means that alone. Eva, you already know Eva, right? Certainly.
Certain.
Itara means common.
Oh,
Jana means
person.
person. In Indian language also Jana is
Yeah.
even today means person.
Oh, Jana means life or soul, so person.
Yeah. Saha means he. Yat means whichever or whatever, the same thing like before. Pramanam. You were telling in the what is that?
Yeah, we on Monday we learned about pranayama.
No, pramanam means example.
Ah, pratika.
Yeah. Pratika, pramanam. Pramanam means it's a standard, not even an example. Pramanam means standard. Kurute means kuru, you know, action. Kurute means does perform. Loka, all the world. Loka means the world. Tat means that. See, they're similar sounding both in Sanskrit and in Anuvartate. We had this word in the last look also, right? In some of the previous lokas also.
Oh yeah, none.
Right?
Footsteps,
Yeah,
footsteps.
I know, but that's there.
Pravartitam. Anuvartayati. Anuvartayati.
Follow, follow, follow,
Yeah.
follow.
Anuvartayati means follow. So follow in the footsteps.
Which means basically follow the exact path.
Yeah. So what this tells is that whatever a great person does, all others follow.
But why does Arjuna need to know? I mean, it's not like Arjuna is going to do it just for the fame or popularity, because that would be very mean.
Arjuna needs is Krishna is telling whatever is good to Arjuna. He is basically uh, uh, like changing his mindset. I mean, he is telling what is good and what is bad.
Oh.
And even in this context, it applies, right? Arjuna has to lead by example. If he goes back, then what will happen to the morale of his soldiers?
They will also go. Oh yeah, we talked about this in the very beginning.
Yeah. So so he has to set a good example. So who are some of the natural leaders to you in this world?
Mother, father, and guru.
Yeah, the guru, the teacher, the mother, the father. Sometimes when you grow up, it could be the president of the country,
anyone who's a role model.
Yeah, who is expected to be a role model.
And anyone who you
Leader.
admire.
Yeah. So they're all natural leaders for the people. Like you have leaders. And what you do basically models these leaders' behaviors. For girls, it is said that mother is a role model, right? Subconsciously, girls tend to follow, even if they don't want to follow, they tend to follow their mothers.
Also, like in the old times, whatever the father was, so if the father was like a cobbler, then the son would grow up and be a cobbler.
Yeah, that's another example. So it is very easy to follow the leaders, and father is the natural leader for children, for boys particularly. So they just took on their father's job. So that is the introduction to this sloka. It is simple to understand, right? But there are some deep meanings also. We'll look at it in the next class. We'll continue this sloka even in the next class. So it is 8 o'clock. Any questions? Anybody have any questions? Okay, then let us end the class with our regular prayer. Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityoma Amrutangamaya Om Shanti 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 Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu Samasta Sanmangalani Santu